It seems part of Blake Lively's "It Ends With Us" legal battle has ended. Justin Baldoni's $400 million extortion and defamation lawsuit was dismissed after he missed the deadline to appeal the judge's ruling.
It's a huge win for Lively because, first of all, her case gets to continue. That will go to trial in March of 2026, and that is for harassment and retaliation. The leverage that he had by suing her is now gone.
You ever notice how the loudest victory laps always come right before someone trips? Because that's exactly what we just watched Blake Lively do. For a moment, it actually looked like she'd pulled it off. She strutted into Halloween weekend dressed as an old lady from the movie Up, smiling like she'd just buried the entire lawsuit saga for good. The tabloids were eating it up. Blake Lively wins. Baldoni's case dismissed. Final judgment entered. She was living her best smug life, probably thinking her little performance art moment would close the chapter for good. But it turns out the chapter wasn't closed. It wasn't even halfway done. Because while Blake was out celebrating, Justin Baldoni's team quietly pulled the receipts. They didn't throw a parade, they didn't post cryptic quotes, and they sure didn't call TMZ. They went straight to the Daily Mail and calmly dismantled her entire victory fantasy in 3 sentences flat. Brian Friedman, Baldoni's attorney, said it plain. No deadlines were missed, no procedural mistakes were made, and the reason they didn't file an amended complaint was strategic. They chose not to file so they could preserve their right to appeal. Let me repeat that. Preserve their right to appeal. So while Blake was busy playing grandma for Instagram likes, Baldoni's lawyers were playing chess. They basically told the court, fine, go ahead and enter judgment. We're not done, we're just taking this up the ladder. Now, if you've followed this case as long as I have, you already know what this means. Blake's been selling the narrative of justice served and case closed for months. Every motion, every filing, every leak has been part of that PR campaign to convince the public she's the victim. But this new development, it cracked that illusion wide open. And the hypocrisy here is wild. Because remember, Blake's entire lawsuit started with her claiming she felt unsafe on set. Not uncomfortable, unsafe. She turned a workplace dispute into a harassment narrative. And when Baldoni defended himself, she said he was running a smear campaign. Then, when he sued her for defamation, she said it was retaliation. Then, when he fought her subpoenas, she said it was obstruction. At this point, it's like she's allergic to accountability. Every time the facts don't fit her version, she just changes the category of complaint. And the latest stunt? It's peak Blake. She filed another motion right before Halloween accusing the It Ends With Us producer Jamie Heath of failing to comply with a court order and get this, demanding the full video of his wife giving birth. Yes, you heard that right. She wants to subpoena a home birth video and says it's critical evidence because she allegedly saw it on set and found it inappropriate. Now, I don't know what universe Blake lives in where that's a normal thing to demand in a harassment case, but apparently, this is how she thinks you prove your point. She calls the clip graphic content, claims it traumatized her, and now wants the court to force Jamie Heath to hand over every second of his wife's most intimate moment. It's grotesque. And yet, somehow, she's the one crying about boundaries. You can't make this up. Meanwhile, her legal team, Wilkie Farr, Mannett, and Dunn Isaacson Ree, filed Document 905 on November 3rd. It's polite, buttoned up, and signed by a small army of lawyers. But the subtext is clear. They're scrambling. Every time Baldoni's team clarifies the record, her side files another motion to keep the story spinning. It's like a PR treadmill that never stops. And the irony? She's accusing Baldoni's camp of using digital tricks to hide evidence, while her own motions have been called out for selectively redacting and overreaching. Her team claims his lawyers hid the ball during discovery, but from where I'm standing, Blake's the one juggling optics like a street magician who ran out of coins. Even the Daily Mail piece couldn't ignore the contradiction. It literally said the legal hatchet between Lively and Baldoni is far from buried. And that's the truth. This isn't over. Judge Lyman entered judgment on a procedural technicality, not a dismissal of substance. Friedman made that crystal clear. No deadlines were missed, no forfeited claims, no collapse, just strategy. But Blake's team spun it like a cinematic ending. Cue the costume, cue the headlines, cue the moral victory montage. Because for Blake, perception is always more important than process. And I think that's what really rubs people the wrong way. For months, she's painted herself as this fearless woman, standing up to a toxic director, claiming she's fighting for safety and accountability. But behind the curtain, she's weaponizing the system, flooding the docket with discovery demands, pushing for irrelevant personal footage, and trying to control the narrative through filings that read more like press releases than legal briefs. If any man had done what she's doing, demanding a childbirth video, smearing colleagues, and manipulating deadlines for PR gain, he'd be crucified. But when Blake does it, it's empowerment. And that's why people are fed up. The hypocrisy is too loud to ignore. Let's be honest, Blake isn't just playing defense anymore. She's waging a full-on campaign of distraction. Every time her credibility gets questioned, out comes another motion accusing someone else of misconduct. It's always someone else's fault. The producer, the director, the assistant, the Signal app, the cloud, the press, the patriarchy, anyone but her. And the best part? Her own court filings keep exposing the cracks. She can't seem to decide if she's the victim of a grand conspiracy or just misunderstood. One day, she's terrified. The next, she's directing her own discovery war from the front lines. You can't cry fragility and flex control at the same time. Pick a lane. This is why public opinion keeps shifting. People are starting to notice that the things Blake accuses others of doing, hiding evidence, controlling the narrative, misusing technology, are the same tactics she's being called out for. It's the classic projection pattern, and it's unraveling her image faster than her lawyers can repackage it. Because at the end of the day, real accountability doesn't need costumes. It doesn't need fake victory posts or selective leaks to friendly reporters. It just needs truth. And the truth, according to court filings and direct statements, is that this case is alive and very much kicking. Friedman said it best. The truth about this case continuously gets distorted in the media. And guess who benefits from that distortion every single time? Blake. So no, the lawsuit didn't vanish. No, the judgment wasn't a win. And no, the story isn't over. If anything, this is the calm before another storm. Because when you celebrate too early in a fight like this, you're not showing strength, you're showing fear. Blake thought Halloween was the curtain call. She thought dressing like an old woman would mark the end of the saga, but that was just her trying to age out of accountability. She wanted to look like she'd moved on, like she was wise and unfazed. But the truth? The mask wasn't a costume. It was a cover, and it's slipping fast. Because when you throw a party for a victory that doesn't exist, you're not celebrating, you're hiding. And the minute the music stops, the people you tried to fool start seeing you for what you are. So go ahead, Blake. Keep pretending the show's over. But the credits haven't even started rolling, and when they do, they won't say the end. They'll say, to be continued. And this time, you won't be the director.